What's up, friends?
Hello, good morning.
We are on our way to Highmark Stadium.
Big game today. They have the ability to clinch a playoff spot today.
The Bills win and a Ravens loss.
Which is possible because they're starting Huntley today.
So, yeah,
no Lamar Jackson certainly helps the Bills.
They got demolished last week pretty handily.
Yeah, weird game for the Ravens. The Ravens are on the skids, but the Bills happen to not be, almost coincidentally at this point. So I don't want to guarantee it. I just know that the stadium is going to go bonkers today as we're on our way. When they show that the Ravens are losing at any given point in time, and the Bills are obviously hopefully winning. That is the keyest point to this appointment. Is going 2-0 these next 2 weeks are paramount to the Bills' success.
So if the Bills win, are we storming this field today? Are we allowed to say that?
No, I will not be storming the field. So you can say whatever you want. I will not be doing it.
We're jumping down from the first level.
The Ravens, weird team. They get blown out by good teams, and they barely beat bad teams. But they have a guy like Matt Ryan who keeps you into those bad team games, which is really elevating. Not a lot of bad teams have good quarterbacks, which is really a difference maker sometimes, which is really that's kind of like everyone always said about the Bills. Just get a quarterback. Once you get a quarterback, you have the keyest piece to this ointment in what your football team needs to be successful.
Yeah, and you look at the offense of the Falcons. I mean, you don't have Julio Jones anymore. Calvin Ridley hasn't been playing for a while.
He quit up.
So you have Gage, who's probably their number one receiver. You have Davis, I think, right, as their running back.
Yeah, Mike Davis. You got Cordero Patterson as their number one playmaker. Just a lot of simple things on that team that really do a lot of things well. It's a fascinating team, honestly. They just don't play defense well. It's kind of what the Bills kind of need is, score 40 points today in a snowstorm. Kyle Pitts is their best offensive weapon, and he's never played in anywhere but Florida. He's never played in any weather like this. He went to college in Florida, Gator, and then he plays in a dome on his home games and lives in ATL on the other days. So, he isn't one to man, I'm really going to set the world on fire today. So, keep Kyle Pitts in check. It'll probably keep you real nice and warmed up so you can play against good tight end coverage against tight ends, when hopefully you play against the Chiefs in the playoffs. So, you kind of need to be fine-tuned. I thought they covered Gronk very well in the Tampa Bay game,
Even Dane Jackson out there.
Yeah, exactly. I think Dane Jackson's been a very bright spot in a very dark cloud of Trey White's injury. And that's the part, Jake and I had a conversation today, or not today, yesterday. And he said, what was the stat that John Murphy put out there that you sent me? Something along the lines of, leading in passing yards and leading in pass defense. 3 out of the last 4 teams went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I think about that, and I think, man, listen, their stats are great across the board. The Bills know what they're doing, obviously. But can this team really pull it off without Trey White? To me, he is the most vital organ of this defense. And, you're going into the playoffs without your most vital organ in your defense. Did Jordan Poyer pass him?
While you may be true, Trey White is a very pivotal point to this defense. I think the Bills' secondary has stepped up with the loss of Trey White. I'm not saying that we don't miss Trey White. We certainly do. But I think we're just fine. I think we're still one of the league leaders in defensive pass.
Oh, for sure.
Pass defense.
Their pass defense has been fantastic either wise. Anyway, you know what I mean? So you look at it, and you don't have Trey White, but you still have Mike Hyde, you still have your Jordan Poyer, you still have, Levi Wallace, who, talk about him, don't talk about him. He's been better than anyone ever gave him credit for this season. And with him out, Trey White being him, with him out, there's no doubt about it, an absolute, a hole that he has to fill in that role.
For sure.
So I think Levi Wallace, hope he's back next year. He's on a 1 year coming back for vengeance, prove it deal. I just hope this team's got enough blood. You know what I mean? I hope they got enough blood in the water right now to keep that killer instinct up. Don't let these next 2 games be trap games. That's important.
I think we're at a really good point in the season, a little late, but with the win over the Patriots, I think the Bills got their swagger back. I think we're going to see a new Buffalo Bills team, a more consistent Buffalo Bills team. Now, whether, yes, it's probably playing a factor today, but I think the Bills are going in thinking that they can knock off anybody. So
I'll interrupt you right now by saying I think that this team got their swagger back in that halftime against the Bucs. I think that's when we could point and say that's where the Bills looked like the Bills again.
I agree.
And I don't say that lightly. I think it does have an importance due to the fact that I think that they just came out, said we're not going to let this happen to us, and kind of stepped up a little bit. Played well defensively, played great on offense. I mean, how do you do that against Tom Brady? And, he blew a 21-point lead?
Yeah.
Everyone likes to blow Tom Brady all the time, but he was on the other side of that game, you know what I mean? It wasn't no slub Teddy Bridgewater, nothing like that. That was the GOAT, So I think the Bills have gotten their swagger back last, 2.5 games here. I think you need to capitalize. Last year they went on a 7-game winning streak at the end of the season, right? 7, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
They're 7-1 at the end of the season, maybe 8 wins, hopefully. But I think that we look at it right now, and I think they have the potential to start up a similar run right now.
For sure.
They're on 2-0. They won their first back-to-back games since, October?
Yeah.
The Miami game was the last back-to-back win they've had. And then you're going to look at this, and you're going to say, you got to beat the Falcons, you got to beat the Jets. That's 4 games in a row right there. Really 4.5, but you don't get credit for the half Buccaneer game.
What's up, Mike? Mike's in.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy? Jake was like, I don't know if we should do this. It's a little weird. We're in the truck. And I said, Mike said to do it. We're going to do it. Didn't I?
No.
I did. He didn't see the comment, Mike, so it wasn't like he was trying to slight you or anything.
No. Zach was 8 minutes prior to us going live, was like, hey, we're going live. And I go, we are?
You want to hold it?
So that happened.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't, we don't need pomp and circumstance for this, do we?
No. I'm just glad that it happened. We are here.
Why don't you, I don't know.
I can just hold it.
Yeah, that might even be
This
easier.
is our first.
It's our first roadie in a while.
Oh, this is good.
That's a good view.
Maybe.
You guys are riding in the car with us, going to the game together.
We are still obeying all traffic laws, don't worry.
No, the fuck I'm not. No, I'm kidding. I didn't even touch the wheel.
My mom's watching.
Your mom doesn't have a phone.
What?
Listen, so in case anyone's jumping on, checking out new info here, we got, Kyle Pitts coming to town, plays in a dome on his home games, played in Florida. This is going to be an interesting game for him, to say the least. The Ravens really don't have much going on besides Cordero Patterson, who will probably play for the Bills next year, so he probably wouldn't want to hurt our feelings or anything along those lines. You could look at, Mike Davis, who, while in Carolina last year, had some fantastic games, but he might be a system running back at this point. He really doesn't have a lot going for him in terms of that.
Brennan said, yo, my dad and I were going to this game, but we got COVID. Hope it's a good one. Well,
that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Hope you guys feel better. It's out there. We tried to ignore it when it first started. Remember that when we were doing podcasts saying, we don't want to talk about it, which was probably good because it talked about it. Everyone else talked about it.
Yeah, but now it's everywhere, so it's hard to avoid.
Now it's hard to avoid. We got players sitting out, things along those lines. Yeah, it's out there.
Everyone's back.
Yeah, the Bills have a clean bill of health on the COVID. That sucks. If you guys feel better and want to go to the Jets game, comment to us. We can work something out. I have an extra pair of tickets.
Oh yeah.
I have an extra pair of tickets to this game, but I guess we can make it that way.
Mike said, I'm expecting Promoter to have a big game again. He didn't fill the stat book last week, but thought he was effective.
Oh,
he's been
100%
wildly
agree.
efficient.
I thought, obviously his stats didn't, which I was surprised at the end of the game when I looked at his stats and I was like, 39 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
You would have told me he was running 100, I would have believed. Maybe not that much, but I mean, his first 2 plays of the game, he set the tone hands down last week. He set the tone. That angry run he had,
which was wild. I watched that back.
I could watch that 100 times. I don't know how he popped out on Hightower like that.
was a 3-yard gain at first, and then he took him another like 8 or 9 yards
Yeah, he got
while
the first.
tiptoeing the sideline.
Yeah, very impressive. The Bills looked impressive last week. While the score wasn't as wide as I thought it would have been, but if you would have taken the score away, you know, and showed me just like the highlights, there was a dominant performance by the Bills last week.
1,000%.
Without a doubt. I'd like to see if they follow it up this week. I don't know what their game plan will be. Maybe they want to show Josh Allen dropping dimes in the snow. You know, Stephon Diggs is about 11 catches away from 100 again. You know, he's got two more touchdowns away from the Bills' record of receiving touchdowns, which is 11. Billy Brooks.
He has the most.
Or Billy Butler.
Yeah,
Butler.
he
Jerry
has
Butler.
the most receptions for a team, being on a team for 2 years. So his first
He's got
2
a lot
years
of
with
stats.
the
I think
team.
he's got the most yards, too.
Yeah.
If he gets, I think it's 9 more catches this year, he'll pass Wes Welker as the most catches in the first 2 full seasons. Right now, he's got the record. Most catches the first 2 full seasons as on a new team. Brandon Marshall's in second right now. He's going to pass him today. And then Wes Welker's in first, who will pass today. And pass today in a good day. I don't know. Can't guarantee it. Got any questions? I think we're going to head off soon because we're almost there. What up, Mike? Expecting motor. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. This is a big game. The Bills got 2 big ones. And then, I mean, to be fair, they kind of have to treat all these like playoff games the last, handful of weeks. So they'll be playoff ready. We talked about Trey White being down and how vital he was. And how kind of shameful it is kind of like, can the Bills, thinking like that, can the Bills still be the Bills in the playoffs or even, knock on wood, they make it to the Super Bowl? Is that a still realistic expectation without maybe the most vital person in your defense with Trey White? I think it's tough. I think it's a real tough task to pull off. I think Dane Jackson stood up well to the call, the action. I think Levi Wallace has played phenomenally. And I just think that there's a lot of things going on right now that we could feel great about with Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde and still think, man, they're doing it well without Trey White. And I'm really happy for them. That's the important part.
1,000%.
Jake, got any final send-offs?
It's going to be cold.
It's going to be very cold.
I'm not looking forward to it. I have 2 quarter zips, a sweater, and fucking 4 pairs of pants. So.
I have shorts, sweatpants, snow pants, a t-shirt, or a long sleeve shirt, a light hoodie, and then the hoodie I'm wearing, and then I got my Bills starter jacket. Fanatics.com, check that out. That's a nice jacket.
Oh, you can't see it back there.
No, maybe you kind of feel
We'll post a pic
Yeah.
later.
And then I got my duck boots and my wool socks. So
Oh yeah, on the feetsies I have Blown Stones, great boots, check them out, and like 3 pairs of socks.
mine are called something. I don't know what they're called, but they're called something. I don't remember that stuff he does. Take care, guys. Have a great game. Go Bills. Let's go win this one, huh?
Go Bills, baby. How do I end this?